Mhm. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hakishmi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hakishmi, Eliyahu. Eliyahu Hagiladi Bimhera Yavo O Eleinu Mashiach ben David Heraya Vo Eleinu Mashiach ben David na 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 Mashiach ben David. So we're getting closer to speaking more seriously about the redemption, the Geula, how it works, how it's unfolding, what our part in it is. So 2 weeks with creation, redemption, creation, revelation, redemption. Anybody who doesn't have it, so I can still give it to you. That it's built in, it's embedded in our prayers, it's embedded in our holidays. Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot is creation, revelation, redemption, even though Pesach is really just a reset of creation. It's not creation itself, but it tells us about Hashem, the Creator. Revelation refers back to it. Sinai refers back to Pesach. Sukkot is the end time. But every day we do it. It's in our prayers. It's a whole thing. It's embedded in there. It's Shabbat is Friday is creation. Saturday morning is revelation. And Saturday afternoon is redemption. So we got just to get that clear. And then like for instance, at the end of this week, last page, I put it at the end, whatever, because it was an afterthought of this present set on page 6. We're going to take some of these for anybody who comes in. The last little thing on the bottom of page 6, not the footnote, but the little print, the last page of the 6-page set. Redemption in creation. This is the meaning of the statement of the Yetzirah regarding the Sfirot, Na'utz Sofan B'tchilatan. Their end is wedged in their beginning. Hashem does things as he is Sof Maaseh B'machshava Tchila, that the end deed is really in the first thought. The end is in the beginning. According to the Gra, the first 5 verses of the Torah contain the entire history of the world. The same is true of the 7 words of the first verse, and the 6 letters of the first verse, and even the dot in the middle in the first word, in the first letter, the dot, the dagesh in the beit. We don't have it in our Sifrei Torah, but it is it's an invisible dot in terms of the Sefer Torah. But everything is embedded in the beginning. It's the idea of a capsule, of a gene, of a cell, of an embryo. That idea is always at the end, is embedded in the beginning. It's called teleology. All right? Teleology, where the end is already there, conceived of and part of, and couldn't have happened if it wasn't already part of the original plan. Anthropic principle also, one of some of the leading edge scientists, principle that the world is preset with certain fine tuning, without which life could not exist. And to the extent that consciousness is already factored in long before consciousness exists, long before it exists in the physical world. Okay, go on, inside.
What does that mean, though, the dot in the base? Like, even the base has got something you can work with.
Right.
It's a base, you expand it.
Right.
The dot is...
So the Gra's thinking is like this. It's called, in computer terminology, it's called a zip file. That the whole thing is in a zip file already inside a dot. It's just symbolic thinking. That as far back as you go, everything is in that first dot. And then everything expands from there. Everything is included in there. And the whole plan, the program of creation is included in something. First thought dot, which it represents the first thought. It's not something that's physically small. I'm talking about the creator of the world.
Could you apply that to many places like Vayhi or the first commandment in the Torah? Every time there's like the first or major something that happened in the Torah, perhaps that's like encapsulates all the rest that are after, like sometimes? Could
be, I don't know. I haven't thought of it. On the first time a letter appears in the Torah, perhaps particular words, so that's its main tachana merkazi. That's where it takes off from. And so every time it's mentioned after, or every word in the Torah, the first time it's mentioned, or every letter, as I said, that's its place where it takes. And when you want to know what it means in another word, 3 million words away, you go back to that, I don't know. You just know the concept. Okay, so I go on here a little bit more. In this little print here, idea is found in the first 3 verses of Lech Lecha. This time not about creation in general, but about the creation of the Jewish people. And I don't go into it here, but Lech Lecha, me'artzecha, mimoladet, umivit avicha el haaretz ar'eka, asher ar'eka, you leave your house and go from all these places to go to the land that I'll show you. And there's they say that it's go to the land, I will show you. Our eka is a very specific kind of construction. I will show you. And then it ends, the first 3 verses end with, and all of the nations of the world will be blessed through you. Since that of Avraham is the beginning of the Jewish people, and even though it's only just 3 verses, it's all of the nations of the world will be blessed through you. And that's in the first verse also, Asher Ar'eka, where I will show you. It's also in Lech Lecha, go to yourself. So everything in the Torah is based on the idea of a beginning that contains within itself an encapsulated form, the entire thing. And it's more, of course, hidden, but the idea is there. Then I show here in the Midrash, according to the Midrash, the Elohim that is hovering over the waters of creation is Rucho Mashiach. So the Mashiach, the concept of Mashiach, is embedded in the first verses of the Torah. As in Yalkut Shimon, Reish Lakish, he goes to the second verse of the Torah has to 4 exiles. The Haaretz Hayta Tohu. The world was the earth was Tohu, Vabohu, V'choshech is Al Pnei Tehom. And the Midrash goes through each one of them. And the end of this verse, the end of the second verse of the Torah, V'ruach Elohim mirachefet al pnei hamayim, and the spirit of Hashem was hovering over the waters. If you see it here, it's on the end of the 3rd line in the Hebrew. V'ruach Elohim So the Midrash says, Ze rucho shel Mashiach, dichtiv v'nacha alav ruach Adonai. Upon him, upon the Mashiach, in Isaiah chapter 11, which we'll see later, maybe not today, but it's in this set of 6 pages, that upon the Mashiach will rest the Ruach of Hashem. So Mashiach is identified with Ruach Hashem. We'll see sources about this and what Ruach Hashem is for us. But the idea here is when, at the end of the 4 exiles that are already pre-programmed into creation, as the Maharal says in Tiferet Yisrael, Netzach Yisrael, there'll be 4 kingdoms of exile, and there'll be the 5th kingdom, which is the Messianic kingdom. Maharal does a thing with numbers there that negative integers are balanced. 1 is balanced. 2 extends to the extremities. 3 has a midpoint to join the extremities. 4 goes again out to the extremities, the middle again, and brings the extremities back into harmony with each other. 6 is again out to all 6 directions, up and down, east, west, north, south. 7 in the middle brings it to that. 8 has no problem. 10, 8, 9, and 10 is off. It's intimate. But within the system of the first 7 integers, he does a very interesting thing there. And he says, therefore, in Netzach Yisrael, that the 5th kingdom will be everything, all the nitzot, all the sparks of holiness that went forth in the original creation will be brought back into their center. Everything will be integrated. Everything will be harmonized. So the idea, even though there's a breakdown, there's an initial breakdown. I call it stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Stage 1 is everything in a unified state. Stage 2 is everything in a broken state, alienation, exile, disconnection. Stage 3 is the return to unity on a higher level. It's also embedded in our entire system all over the place. We want to go into it right now. So we're talking about something that's there everywhere, that our whole prayer system, our whole holiday system, our whole, somehow there's a wisdom here. Right? This is the way nature works also. Hashem created nature in this way. So that's the beginning, is to connect into this thing that's there, that you should notice. That Friday night is a commemoration of creation. Saturday morning is a commemoration of Sinai. And Saturday afternoon is a commemoration of that which didn't happen yet. And the point is that it goes back to where we came from, forward to where we're going, and the most important thing to get us to join those 2, which is the Torah, the revelation of Hashem's Torah. Okay, so now coming back to page 1. Yes, good.
So it's like all this is embedded, like the 4 exiles, like right here, and yet we're told that the exiles happened because we didn't behave properly.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So I have a book called Exile and Redemption. I go through the whole, like all the sources. The first source in the Tanakh for such a thing is Daniel. Daniel, the book of Daniel. The first source for the 4 exiles is Daniel. But in Chazal, they already go back to the 2nd verse in Bereshit, and then they go to the experience of Abraham, the Ben Betarim, Yaakov at the ladder when he saw 4 coming down, and the 4th one going up and up and up and not coming down, and he out, and Hashem said, I will bring him down. The end of the 4th exile, the end of the Roman exile, and the last part of the Roman exile right now, Hashem says in the book of Avadia, I will bring him down. It will be different than the end of any of the other 3. The point, of course, your question is, like, how could you do 4 exiles? There's 3 unclean animals that chew their cud. See, that don't chew their cud, that don't have split hooves, but chew their cud. Always different than the other 3. The pig that splits its as any of the others. But why? Why yet. Adam didn't do whatever he did. Why is this programmed in?
And Avram didn't do whatever he did, and we didn't do whatever we did.
Right. So we're talking about a plan of creation, the Shvirat HaKelim process that was set into motion before our world existed, which is a breakage, which is then rectified. So it's already going to set into motion a world of mistakes that we can become part of the rectification process. It's not mukhrach. It's not absolutely necessary that Adam would have done what he did. He had a free will. He could have not done that. There is free will, and free will is very real. There's, in a sense, within the framework of the world created, there's always the high road and the low road. Both are possible. And at any point, even if we've taken the low road and we've made mistakes, the Midrash lists 7 disasters that happen as a result of which the divine presence became further and further more distant from us, until Avraham started to bring it down, and Yitzhak more, and then Yaakov more, and then Levi, Amram, Moshe. I think one in between. There's also Moshe's his son. Moshe brought the divine presence back down on the 7th verse. And still, what I'm saying is, the main thing I'm saying is that there's free will, but it's already programmed into creation that we're going to have a resistance to our connection to God. Hashem created the world in such a way that would be a contra-force and that we would have to overcome it. And Judaism is a monotheistic system. It's not God against the devil. It's us against evil. And Hashem is who created the whole system, who's actually the one who runs the system behind the scenes. So it's not a one-foot answer to a very important question. How can you input exile into a world and say, blame it on us, when you've already pre-programmed it? It's a very deep thing. So I'm saying that one way to deal with it is that, yes, there is free will, and it's a sacred point within our system that Hashem does not interfere with our free will, but he also has Hakol Tzafui, as Rabbi Akiva said. Everything is foreseen. Because when you're dealing with an infinite, omniscient being who has only love for us and who wants to give us something very good, as the Ari says, it was a choice that Hashem made as the director of the film of creation, that it would be a creation that would have the potential for going off. The Meraglim, this week Korach, last week before that. This is the beginning of one disaster after another. And when you read it and when you learn it, it's like, oh my God, why did this have to happen? We were just about to go into Eretz Yisrael. What's going on here? It's because it's a continuing story.
So, but it just seems like it's a cosmic setup. Like I would prefer for Hashem to take responsibility, like for whatever reason that he wanted man to do the repair work. Like it seems like it was
I promise you that the sources that I'm going to bring here are going to give you a way of dealing with this. It's not understood by any other system. And over 40 years, I'm learning it. I'm trying my best to communicate it. One of the best ways is it's a movie.
It's what?
It is a movie, and Hashem is the director. And that we can go and connect with that which is above the movie. Just like in the Matrix, you can connect above the Matrix and come back down in it and become a rectifier. You can become part of the fixing of creation. And then you understand exactly why the Creator did what he did and why he did it, and how the end will be so much greater as a result of the choice and the decision that he made. So free will is not an illusion by us, but it operates within certain parameters. Hashem set up this system in a certain way that there's a predeterminism, a deterministic system within a free, undetermined system. How we bring it about, the creation, the perfection of creation isn't open. It's all right, these are deep things, so I need to build up more from the bottom, with your permission. Did you get a copy, Daniel, of what we're learning? I want there to be on the table back there for anybody who comes in. Okay. So the first things we're going to talk about is the return of prophecy, in terms of all the different stages of the redemption process that we have to go into. There's going to be the two Mashiachs. What are they? Why do we have to have two Mashiachs? What is our part in that process? Mashiach ben Yosef, Mashiach ben David. There's going to be other things. The main thrust of what I want to talk about is what's part, why were we born now? Were each of us born? Where we were born? Why were we brought up and exposed to certain things and not exposed to certain things? So the klalim, the general principles that we want to speak about, I'm going to ask you to reflect on them in your own life. That we're part of a collective drama of souls, that each one of a part in this, but we can't understand unless we understand the collective drama. You can learn all the books you want in English about reincarnation, but you won't understand the principles of reincarnation unless you go to the Ari, Zohar. There you get the plan, how it works, the cosmic laws behind reincarnation. And it's Torah. It's an amazing wisdom. We're going to learn more about ourselves. So anyway, but that's up ahead. Right now, the return of prophecy is what we're going to try and deal with. So as with everything I give you, you can read them or not. I hope that you will read. I hope that you will read them more than once. I hope that you will, or at least put some colors there or some underlines, and see if there's anything particularly that you connect to. That's important to me, and that you come back with feedback, questions. I gave out last week this, but nobody came back to me with questions. What do I need to do in order to arouse your participation? I'm a unique blend, a writer and a teacher. I'm a unique blend of a writer and a teacher. That's why my teaching, if you can call it what I do, teaching, I don't know. But my teaching is a lot of writing involved. And therefore it gives you a chance to meditate on something. And it's a shame not to come back to the discussion. Two, three, four, 5 times. So I took the best of what he wrote, and I put it together with what he said in class. And that's how Inner Space became a book by Arya Kaplan, as opposed to a book by Rav Avraham Sutton. Really, because I took what he said. So usually you cannot make a out of a class. It's different. It's two different modes of thinking. How to communicate with you, looking at your faces, interacting with you, is much different than sitting at a computer or writing and having the thoughts come. And then it's a different process, certainly for me. So